Hello guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on your post notification, and let's get this started. So today we're gonna be summarizing a movie called Love in Chaos, a romantic rom-com which was produced by a Nigerian producer and actress named Sonia Uche. So in the next scene, we were introduced to a young lady named Martha. She's on her way to do her youth service, and she was actually inside a cab. A cab guy was supposed to drop her at her destination. So once the guy got there, he dropped her off and she paid him. The guy helped her bring down her loads and gave her properties, so she brought out the money as her transport fare to pay the cab guy. And you just know how most of these Nigerian drivers normally do, especially when they see youths like her. They actually wanted more. He was not rooting to give her balance, her change. He wanted to take everything all from her. So knowing how well she was mad at him, she couldn't take the whole situation seriously. At one point, she was extremely very angry with the driver. Like, what are you doing with my change? Please give me my change. I mean, I just paid for my transport fare. This is a give and take situation. This is business. And why you are suddenly feeling like, oh, I'm not supposed to give you.
You, can't you see I'm a copper? I'm a government property. Can't you carry me for free? Give me. You Garumbariki, whatever it is you're saying there.
She got back to the new apartment where her mom actually got for her, where she would stay for her NYSC. So she called her mom and was thanking her for the whole thing, and also telling her how she was able to arrive safely.
Hello, mommy. Yes, I just got there now, and the place looks really good.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it. I love the place, and I must confess, your agent did a great job. Yeah.
Thank God. I was scared you wouldn't.
This was where we are finally introduced the male character named Walex. Walex is a rapper and a male producer who basically does his work in his apartment. I was very, very disturbed at this point because it was very late at night. She couldn't have a very restful sleep, so she decided to go to the next door neighbor to at least tell whoever it is that is playing that loud music to bring it down.
He is at my door by this time.
You know I can have you arrested.
Who are you?
You don't need to know who I am. What you need to know is what the time says. Let's assume you don't have a wall clock, you don't have a wristwatch, or maybe you don't even have a phone. I'm sure you have eyes and you can see that it's late and people are sleeping.
Ask again. Who are you?
Well, I live here.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, how am I supposed to know someone lives here now? Did I see you move in?
It's called common sense. You can't be playing music at that volume by this time of the night. If you want to dance, go to the club.
And if you had this common sense, you would know that I wouldn't be playing music at such loud volume if I knew someone lives here now.
Okay, now you know. Can you turn off the speaker?
And why would I do that?
Because I want to sleep. Are you dumb?
It's my apartment. And I will do whatever I want with it. If you don't like it,
What part of you're disturbing my sleep don't you understand?
oh, I'm disturbing your sleep. Well, I won't stop disturbing your sleep. So do your worst. I'm sorry. Honorable Minister of Housing. Can I go in now?
I say you're arrogant. But I promise you, this apartment will be hell for you.
Oh, I'm so scared.
You should be.
All chaos the previous night, they both saw each other the next day, finding out that they're both core members and they actually serve. Alex offered Martha a ride to her local government of her place of whatever she's actually serving, but knowing too well how they both started at the very wrong place, Martha rejected him.
You are just so rude. I'm only asking you so I know if we're going to the same place so I could give you a lift.
And who told you I need your help?
I don't see your car anywhere, so you definitely look like you need my help.
You see, I will not stoop so low for you because after last night, I know it's a waste of time to say anything to you.
You know you could be humble and just get into the car, yeah? Wait, you know what?
Next day, Walex decided to make peace with Martha by cooking her breakfast in order for them to squash whatever beef they have been actually, making up for themselves for the past few days they met. So he actually cooked him breakfast and offered to her in her apartment.
Good morning.
What are you doing at my door?
I present to you breakfast of peace.
Breakfast of peace. What is that?
I woke up this morning in all my sweetness and decided to make you breakfast so you can squash this beef. So, let's be friends.
I can't be friends with you.
Okay. We could be cordial then.
I can't be cordial.
We can't be enemies forever, can we?
What did you say about first impression?
Come on, buy me.
What?
Your first impression wasn't that good either.
Later, Walex and his friends were trying to promote one of his latest singles, which is actually going around at that moment. So he had two females dancing to his song, probably a TikTok challenge or something. And knowing too well the whole situation, Martha actually came home from her normal job where she's actually serving, and once she was able to get a glimpse of what was going on at that moment, she was extremely very angry. She looked at those women dancing in judgy way, as far as calling the landlord of the apartment of the house to actually do something about getting Walex out of the house because she feels like he's being a disturbance and causing nuisance in the apartment. She was so angry she had to call the landlord. The landlord basically normally had a good relationship with Walex, so he just cut her off from the call. Then her mother called her up on the phone to check up on her and know how she was doing, and you know how her mother always has been on her neck about her finding true love, and she felt that she needs to remind her daughter to actually focus on love and get married and stuff like that. She also had to remind her that she met her father when they were doing their NYSC. So she's wishing the same for her daughter as well.
Mommy, I am here to serve and to work.
I know, but I need you to open your heart to love. And who said you can't meet your husband while serving? I met
My dad, when you were serving, I've heard that 1,000,000,001 times. The fact that I worked for you doesn't mean it's going to work for me,
You're
Mom.
definitely not strangers. I only need a minute of your time.
You have 50 seconds left.
I bring you a drink of friendship. Listen, I know we might have not started on a good note, but I'm really not a bad person. I don't know if you are. I pray I'm not.
Are you done?
Fine. If you don't want my drink, you could at least tell me your name.
I really don't know what it is you think I can offer you. But trust me, I have nothing to give to you. Not even friendship. I was about to eat before you interrupted.
Okay, can I at least join you then?
Are you daft? Are you not supposed to be out there with your Beyonce and Shakira, exhibiting your disgusting youthful exuberance? I thought as much. Can't cut your tongue, you can't talk.
You know what? You can go to hell. Mbeke feeling funky.
What did he just call her right now? Mweke feeling funky. In case if you're Nigerian watching this video, I know you know what that means. It means a girl that is ugly, feeling she's kind of beautiful or stuff like that. You know, she's feeling funky. So that was really intense. So we see Walex washing his car in the morning, and Martha and her friend or her colleague at the office was seen coming back to her apartment. So Walex normally was busy cleaning the car, and one of Martha's friend actually greeted him, but the whole heat was actually extremely very bad. Really concerned about the situation. I mean, how can you see your next door neighbor and he's actually doing something outside, and you just came back from work and you didn't even greet him or something? She was so concerned about the situation. She had to ask her what the problem was, if there was any issue or anything going on between the both of them, if they had any kind of relationship or something. The whole discussion was actually going to take them to Martha ignored her friend and went into the kitchen to get her a glass of juice, not knowing that her friend was going to use that opportunity to go outside and flirt with Walex, who is actually outside washing his car. When Martha returned back with the juice that she was supposed to give her guests, she suddenly didn't see her friend in the living room.
I like it. Are you serious?
I love it. Okay.
I mean,
Okay. Okay.
Vivian.
Okay. What is it now? What are you doing? Were you not talking inside?
Please come.
Why are you dragging me like that?
Let's go.
What is it?
Vivian was extremely very disappointed in her attitude earlier, the way she had to drag her out all the way from a very middle in this discussion with her next door neighbor. And she was trying to let her know that she's her guest and she doesn't have any rights to be talking to someone else. But she told her that she had to stop being an uptight person. She's always very rude and she doesn't like interacting with people. She's always liking to stay on her own and stuff like that. But her friend was trying to make her understand that the way she sees situation is not how it's meant to be. That night, Walex came knocking at her door and trying to invite her over for his birthday the next day. But as usual, she was not really into it.
It's fine. I'll stay away from you this time. And I mean it.
Thank you.
Listen. If you do not come for my birthday or wish me a happy birthday, I swear I will never come through for you. Ever. If you need my help, don't call me, because I will never come through for you.
Hold on. What exactly will I need you for?
Oh. So you think you never need my help, yeah?
I rather get from the devil.
Okay.
So be it.
Thank you.
Next day, we see Walex the next day partying with his friends, having a good time. He invited a bunch of friends to come and actually celebrate with him because, come on, it's actually his birthday. So he was having a huge party at his place. All his friends were invited. They were actually dancing, making loud noises, and it was even disturbing her close neighbor. Time for them to play their normal game, which they do normally in birthday parties and stuff like that. And so they decided to play the game Truth or Dare. So Wallace was given a chance to make one of them to actually dare and ask someone to, dance and twerk on someone. The whole challenge was now up to Wallace because it was his turn to choose if he was going to do a truth or dare. So Ventex was not really into this thing, because he was not ready to do this. But knowing too well that he has friends that he had to impress, plus he was extremely very drunk at that moment, he didn't even know what he was doing. He suddenly see Martha angrily storming out of her apartment due to the whole noise she was getting from her neighbor. Obviously, she needed rest and wanted to work and focus. So just when she was just going to go and meet Walex in his apartment to probably shun him or shout at him, Walex kissed Martha in order to use her and carry out a dare. So with that happening, Martha got really angry and slapped him hard on his face. Wait a minute, is that even a kiss or a make-believe? Because I don't see anybody locking lips. Okay, whatever. Next day, we see Wallace coming to Martha's apartment, and he came over to apologize for what he actually did the previous night. The previous night where he actually kissed her without her permission. He used her to carry out a dare. And as usual, Martha was not really having the whole situation, was not happy, was not really into it.
What party? What are you saying?
I was the drunk one, but I clearly remember.
And like I said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Fine. I just wanted to apologize to you. I was there to kiss any girl and you walked in just in time.
You used me to carry out a dare.
Don't you dare try it again. I don't regret it though. I think you liked it. If you didn't like it, you would have pushed me away earlier than you did.
A little advice for you. Don't read meaning to that mistake of a kiss. Because you are not man enough for me. You're for the street. For those girls without purpose, empty heads just like you. Not a smart, beautiful lion like me.
So later on that day, Martha was seen at night working on her computer, probably most of the projects she has to finish up. And suddenly Martha heard a very weird noise from the door. That was when it actually occurred to her that there was a thief at the door. And this actually got to her surprise. She had to run away through the back door of her apartment. That was the only way for her to get out of that place at the moment. When she successfully made it out of her apartment through the back door, she wanted to escape from the house, the whole compound. But on the second thought, she thought to herself, why not go to her neighbor's house to know if she could find safety and comfort over there.
Neighbor, please, armed robbers, they're at my door. Please. I know I've not been nice to you, but please, I don't want to die. I'm my mother's only child. Please. Where are you going? My laptop. I have to go get my laptop.
Hello. We're in the middle of a very, very dangerous scenario right here, and all you think of is your laptop. Like, seriously right now? So we're taken back to Martha's apartment. One of the thieves happens to be a gay thief, obviously, and he actually made it inside the apartment. He made it to her room. He was going through her stuffs, pointing a gun around, and tried to actually steal one of her perfumes. Probably that was the only thing he actually found attractive enough to steal there. So Alex successfully makes it into the apartment, knocks the gay thief out and makes him unconscious, and also knocks the second thief out and makes him also unconscious, and successfully moves out of the apartment.
Broke into your flat.
What?
And I knocked them out.
You did what?
Listen, I don't think they'll be down for long. So we really need to do something.
The first thief, who was actually secondly knocked out unconscious, told the first one, after they woke up from the unconsciousness, reminded him that they have to kill the guy, Walex, who actually knocked them out. He claimed that he saw his face and definitely that would actually put them in trouble. But the other thief was really against the whole, plan.
No, Payori. I've never killed somebody before, and I can't kill. And you didn't tell me we'll keep person in this business that will come. See, let me tell you something. See, that is Stevie. And me, I'm okay with this perf. It's very nice for me. Let me take the perf while you carry the TV. I'm okay. My fault. Well, no, my
So back into Alex's apartment, he was trying to make a call, to call the policemen and reporting an emergency, whole situation that is going on at the moment. The thief successfully makes it into Walex's apartment, where Walex and Martha are obviously hiding. And of course, the thief suspected that obviously he's going to be living there. So once they got into that place, they actually caught him red-handed. They actually told him to go down on his knees, asked him where his phone was, and he actually made it into his room. The other gay guy was just there pointing a gun at him. So the other thief finally made it into Alex's room, where Martha was obviously hiding and trying to stay away from them. The guy tried to rape her and she was actually crying. And once Alex heard her screams, it was the only way for him to save her. He tried to knock out the gay guy. That was the only opportunity he had at that moment. Finally, Alex successfully knocks out the two thieves, and he took Martha with him into one of the apartments, his studio, where he records all his music and stuff. So he felt maybe that is the only way they can feel safe. Finally, Alex finally tied up the two thieves in one particular room, and he heads back into the room where they actually spent the whole night trying to protect themselves until the next day when the policemen are coming to their rescue. During the whole period of that night, Martha and Alex really bonded a lot. They shared so many ideas, so many stories, things that they barely knew they were supposed to know about each other. Alex told his own stories about how he lost his father and how he got inspired to be a musician, while Martha shared her own. The next day, Martha decided to invite Alex over to his place for dinner or dates. So that was the only way she could actually thank him for protecting her the whole night during the whole scenario the previous night. So she shared her story with her friend and told her stories about what really happened and how terrible she felt. She hated this guy and how this guy really, protected her and made sure she was okay. So the least she could do was actually say thank you by inviting him over and cooking for him, as a date. Finally, Martha invites Alex over for, lunch. After cooking a delicious meal for him, they had another great bonding time together. Martha was excited. He was watching. So Martha barely touched her food the whole time. She was just watching the guy eat the whole thing. And he was like, come on, you've not even eaten your food. Why? She was like, oh, I don't eat with strangers. So that was actually a very, awkward moment for the both of them. So he was like, oh, I guess it's one step at a time. We'll have to start at France. It's just a little one step at a time moment for us.
Thank you. So, what should I say it as? Arrogant neighbor?
Nah.
Yeah.
So after that date, Martha and Wallace kind of got much more closer to each other. They started sharing this this amazing bond with each other, always calling each other on the phone. You mean the whole day Martha is always on the phone with Wallace, even though they're just closed door neighbors, and the bond was just going on, and it was really amazing for the both of them. So after Martha's mom heard about what happened, to them the previous night, the mom wanted to at least speak to the man who saved her daughter's life. So once she was able to get hold of Wallace on the phone, she started with her matchmaking thing all over again. At this point, Martha was not really having it. She was not happy. So the least she could do was to at least collect the phone from Wallace and end the call as soon as possible. She was not really ready for her mom's drama at that moment.
She just wants me to get married.
You don't want to?
I want to actually. But I want to take my time so I don't end up with the wrong person.
So, how are you going to know the right person?
So guys, that night Wallace visits Martha in her apartment with a bottle of champagne, and of course it was going to be a very hot Netflix and chill night. There was a bottle of wine everywhere, and there was also popcorn there as well. And then we see them putting on the television, but it's obvious that they were about to have a movie night together and chill together, something like that. Obviously enjoying each other's company, watching movies, having a good time at that moment. And then we see Martha getting really drunk at that moment, just see some kind of influence in these things. And bam, that was when the whole heat started. We just see Martha and Wallace seeing some kind of, steamy scene on their screen. And the next thing they know is that they're actually staring at each other. It was pretty obvious that the influence of the alcohol what they've been taking the whole night has really greatly impacted Martha at that moment. Suddenly we see Martha dragging Wallace by his shirt to her room. Okay, Martha, we see you. And come on, the next thing we see is Martha closing the door, trying to make adjustments. It's pretty obvious that she's trying to get something at that moment. So obviously Wallace was never going to turn down that at that moment. So of course he lifted her up and really grabbed her by the ass, and just had to place her on her bed. After he placed her on the bed, he actually tried to remove his shirt, and the next was history. We respected her trying to keep it PG, so well respected and well played. So in the next scene we see Martha sharing her whole story about how she spent the night with Wallace and how it all transpired, while Wallace also shares his own story of what happened between him and Martha. Wallace tried to tell his friend that he's actually falling in love with Martha, and Martha tries to tell her friend that she regrets sleeping with Wallace. Doesn't see the relationship going anywhere and feels like it doesn't have a future.
That's what I meant. I don't like him. Vivian, I cannot like him.
Please. Why?
This guy is an upcoming artist. These people can never be serious whatsoever. They're never ready.
So the next day we'll see Walex doing his laundry, and we'll see Martha leaving her apartment at that moment. Sees Walex doing his laundry outside. Oh no, she had to run back to her apartment immediately. But it was already too late. Walex saw her and actually called out to her name.
Martha.
Hey. Hi.
Were you just trying to run back in?
No? What do you mean?
I saw you.
Saw me what?
So you've been avoiding me? Huh? That means when I came knocking at your door yesterday, you were intentionally ignoring me.
Alex, I don't know what you're saying.
Is this because of what happened?
Nothing happened, okay?
You can't say nothing happened. Of course something happened between you and I, and you know it.
And I'm sure you're proud of yourself. Another name added to the list of girls you've slept with.
What do you even mean by that?
Alex, I know your type. Alright? But I need you to understand that I did what I did because I wanted to. I'm not one of those cheap girls you can easily sleep with. Okay? I did it because I wanted to. If I didn't want it, it wouldn't happen.
The mother always tries all her best to push Walex away from her. Next day, Walex tries to make her listen to one of her recorded songs. But as usual, Martha pushed him away and told him to look for someone else to listen to his song.
I recorded a song last night, and I wanted you to be the first to listen to it.
I'm not interested.
It's just a 3-minute song.
I said I am not interested.
So, you can't spare 3 minutes of your time?
I'm busy.
Martha.
Alex, please do not push it.
I was really getting angry with this Martha girl. I mean, come on, you just had sex with this guy and suddenly you feel like you need to push him away, all because you're not sure about if he's ever going to take you serious or not. Hello, you had sex. That is a very serious thing for crying out loud. Next day, we see Martha working on her laptop, probably a project from work, and suddenly Walex texted her, trying to tell her that he really wants to see her, but as usual, she turned him down, that she's really busy or something. Unfortunately, the only way to actually get her attention was lying about his sickness. So Walex lied, telling Martha that he was sick in order to get her into his apartment. Finally goes into Walex's apartment, and only to find out he was actually lying about his sickness. And this got to her attention. She got really angry and decided to leave the room. Unfortunately, Walex held her back. Finally, Walex decided to confess his feelings for her, telling her how much he loves her and how much he's willing to make her happy, and he's not going to hurt her feelings, that he's not really the kind of guy that she is thinking he is, that he's actually capable of falling in love and having a good relationship with a woman despite of whatever she thinks about him.
I am in love with you. I want to be with you. I know there's something here and I want to explore it.
This goes on and on with how much he loves her and how much he's willing to fight for her. But as usual, as expected, Martha was not convinced with the whole situation and the choice of career that he has. So of course, she turned him down.
But I cannot be your girlfriend. Do not get me wrong. But you are not my dream man. I am a career person. And I want a man with my kind of vision.
Music is a career too.
I know. But it's not my kind of career.
Finally, Martha only offered Walek's friendship and not relationship. And of course, Walex was not impressed with the whole situation and he left her there, and she went back to her apartment crying and, seeing how situation turned out for them in this whole decision that she has really made for herself. The next day, Walex and his friend were celebrating his success on his music career. When they came out, they saw Martha and her friend. Walex didn't greet her, ignored her completely.
Then being best of friends, then even becoming intimate, to becoming enemies. How did that happen? He asked me to be his girlfriend. And you said no. Matter. Vivian, I gave my reasons. And they were.
Later on, we see Walex chilling around the poolside, thinking about the whole scenario, and how much he really misses Martha, and how much he wants to see her. His friend joins him at the poolside, encourages him to forget about the girl and focus on his career, knowing too much of how much he's going to achieve success right now that his music career is really doing well. He shouldn't have anything to do with that girl at that moment and not letting her be his distraction.
Let Martha go.
I won't.
You have to let Martha go.
No.
Let her go. You have to choose between your career and a relationship. You can't have both.
I can. And in fact, I will have both.
So that night, we see Walex trying to record his music. First of all, he's trying to write his songs and record, but he was not getting any inspiration. There was no inspiration. He keeps on tearing every piece of paper he comes across with. Martha, on the other hand, was trying to decide if she should call Walex or not, if she should swallow her pride on. So finally, Martha decided to go to Walex's apartment and confess her feelings for him, that she hasn't been at peace ever since they stopped talking to each other, that she wants to give it a trial. She does not care if he's a male rapper or not, if he's an artist or not, that she's ready to give this relationship a trial. And as expected, they both confessed their feelings for each other, and that was where the whole story ends.